Welcome to Myth or Reality Stories. Is this story a myth and untrue, or a reality and totally true? You decide.
It all began innocuously enough, just an old wooden wine cabinet bought at an estate sale. Kevin Mannis, a small-time antique dealer, was always on the lookout for unique items to restore and resell. The cabinet was simple, with delicate carvings and a mysterious, worn patina that suggested it had witnessed many years. Mannis later learned it had belonged to a Holocaust survivor, an old Jewish woman who had kept it as her only prized possession. When he opened it, he found the contents were peculiar: 2 locks of hair, a dried rose, and a small, golden goblet. But these were just curious artifacts in Mannis' eyes, and he thought little of them as he brought the box to his shop. That was his first mistake. The oddities began almost immediately. While restoring the box in his basement workshop, Mannis found himself overcome by an inexplicable feeling of dread, as though something unseen was watching him. Strange, sour odors would fill the air, pungent and unbearable, only to vanish moments later. At night, Mannis was plagued by vivid, unsettling nightmares of a shadowy figure, a dark silhouette with hollow eyes, creeping towards him as he lay helpless in his bed. He chalked it up to stress and exhaustion, pushing away the gnawing sense that something was terribly wrong. The first real incident came when he gave the box as a gift to his mother. She had admired it, so Mannis thought it would make the perfect surprise. The moment she touched the cabinet, though, her face twisted in pain. She collapsed, struck by a sudden and severe stroke, leaving her paralyzed and unable to speak. Mannis was horrified, but at the time, the connection between the box and her condition hadn't fully sunk in. Not yet. But then more incidents followed. Friends and family who came into contact with the box reported feeling nauseated and uneasy. One friend, a skeptic by nature, laughed off Mannis' concerns and spent the night at his house. By morning, he was gone without a word, later confessing that he had woken up in the middle of the night to find a tall, dark figure looming over him. He refused to ever set foot in the house again. Mannis tried to ignore the growing terror, but things only got worse. Objects in his shop began to move on their own, books falling from shelves, lights flickering erratically. His home became a site of strange occurrences, with doors slamming in the dead of night and an oppressive sense of foreboding that pressed down on him constantly. He soon found himself unable to sleep, haunted by the same nightmare, night after night. This shadowy figure now spoke, whispering ancient, garbled words, its voice like gravel scraping against stone. He would wake up drenched in sweat, gasping for breath, feeling as though something was in the room with him. Out of desperation, Mannis tried to rid himself of the box by selling it on eBay, detailing his disturbing experiences in hopes that someone else would take it off his hands. The box passed through several owners, each reporting the same disturbing phenomena: nightmares, illnesses, and the overwhelming sense of being stalked by an unseen presence. Jason Haxton, a museum curator, became the box's next owner. He thought the whole thing was absurd at first, a fun piece of superstition for his collection. But then, he too began to suffer. He experienced night terrors more vivid than anything he had ever known. His skin would break out in rashes, his muscles aching as though he'd been attacked. His health rapidly deteriorated, and his family, once skeptical, now refused to come near the box. Haxton dug deeper into the box's origins and discovered its connection to Jewish folklore. The word Dibbuk surfaced repeatedly, a restless, malevolent spirit seeking to possess the living. The items inside the box were meant to contain it, to keep the evil trapped within. But now it was awake. Haxton became convinced that the spirit within the box was trying to escape, feeding off the fear it induced in its owners. In a final desperate act, Haxton consulted rabbis and occultists alike, hoping to find a way to seal the box's malevolent power. After performing an ancient binding ritual, Haxton hid the box away in a secret location, where it remains locked away to this day. But the box isn't gone, just hidden, waiting. No one knows where it is now, but one thing is certain: if you ever come across an old, weathered wine cabinet with carvings on its doors, be careful. There's a chance that what you're holding is more than just a relic of the past. And if you hear a whisper in the dead of night, don't turn around. Some things are better left unseen.
This story is a reality and totally true. Please subscribe, or else.